The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking alternative history horror on today's podcast. Welcome and thank you for joining us on another episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. Today we're talking about alternative history horror like Vampire Hunter Abraham Lincoln and Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters and Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And I'm joined as always by my fantastic panel of nerds. Jude is here. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
What kind of drink did you make us today? Don't spoil the recipe though, because it's going to be in our Discord.
I made us pomegranate Negronis, which, I mean, if you know how to make a Negroni, I've already given you the recipe. But we'll post it in our Discord.
Yep. The frustrated producer, Matthew Kadish, is here. Welcome, sir.
I feel like this episode should be more highbrow than it is. Like we're talking about a former president, Jane Austen, and
Hans Christian Andersen.
It's just like, nope.
And filling in for the barbarian space Viking is Conspiracy Tom.
Hey man, welcome me back.
Hello,
welcome me back.
The drink has already taken place.
Yeah, I don't know what a Negroni is.
I love that shirt though.
Yeah,
the end is meow, and it has a cat with a tinfoil hat on. Yeah. That's very fitting for Conspiracy Tom. I dig it, man.
Yeah, I figured I should wear a shirt that reflects what you call me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right on. You see, he gives us a thought. He then told us that on the phone on the way over here that he was halfway to Prim, which is like a half an hour away from us. And I'm like...
And then he showed up 30 seconds later. Yeah. He was like, surprise!
To be fair, I have been harassed by these two all week long. Have you watched these yet? Are you going to watch them? Yeah, I'm watching them now. No. Are you going to watch them? I've already watched them, man. Okay, be here at this time. No, let me call him. Hold on, scratch that.
We take this stuff very seriously.
Forget everything we said. Okay, I'll be early. Do not be early.
The producer, that's his job to do that. Yeah. I am your best friend. It's also my job to do that. Yeah. Just to be like, hi, how are you? You ready this week? He's like, stop harassing me. Yeah. Fuck, man.
Like, talk to Matthew. We've discussed this.
Every time I ask him about his life, he's like, you're harassing me. Yeah. He's triggered.
All right, guys. Before we get into it, we're going to take a quick break, listen to some sponsors. We will be right back, and we're going to get into Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Welcome back, everybody. If you love what we do here, if you tune in every single week, consider becoming a club member. That is where you are going to get even more awesome content from us. You get 4 exclusive podcasts every single month, and that is our most raw, unfiltered selves. We don't have to worry about what's going on with the tech overlords. We can say whatever we want, and we get support directly from the fans of the podcast. Consider joining up. We have a great community. You also get Discord access, which is awesome. We have a great community over there. People are chatting up. We have different servers for every show that we talk about. It's really a lot of fun, and we would love to have you over there. So consider supporting us. Join the saltynerdclub.com community. All right. First movie on our list, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Jude, take it away.
All right, sir. 2012, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 45 minutes. This had a budget of $69 million. What do you think this brought in?
110 million.
Wow.
110.
You were out of your mind.
Tomas?
Like 45.
$116 million.
Yes.
Listen,
Wow.
2012 was a crazy time.
Wow, that's amazing.
Did you see the cast in this show?
Well, yeah, but none of them are that big yet. Dominic Cooper wasn't that big, and neither was Black Falcon.
What's Ralphio? What's his name? The guy from Man in the High Castle?
Oh, yeah, the guy with the eyes?
Yeah, dude with the eyes.
He's got a weird name. But yeah, I mean, but he's a person. We don't even know his name.
He's Rufus Sewell.
Yes,
Rufus. That's what it is.
Yes.
I really like him.
It's totally Rufus.
I want him in everything.
He's awesome.
He could be Dr. Doom.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
He could be Dr. Doom.
100%. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, dude. Jude. Go ahead, dude.
All right, bro.
Take it away.
In an attempt to combine historical drama with a horror movie, we see young Abraham Lincoln's mother taken from him by a vampire when he's just a boy. Then years later, while trying to avenge his mother, he meets Harry, a vampire with a heart of gold, who teaches him everything there is to know about vampires and how to kill them. When bitten, those pure of soul die. But if you're naughty, you become one of the undead. Guided in the art of vampire hunting by his longtime friend and good vamp, Abe makes a name for himself in hunting and politics, ultimately winning the war against slavery and vampires. He's the president that saved the country's souls.
This is a guilty pleasure movie for me, for sure.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
it was really boring.
Oh, you are so off. It is great.
I love this movie.
It is.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently I'm wrong.
The fighting is very decent.
Yeah.
I appreciate the nonsense. The cast is good.
Yeah.
I mean, Pride, Prejudice, Zombies we'll talk about later, but the fighting is terrible. But it does make the terrible story palatable. Where this is like, the fighting is awesome. It's
Abraham
really
Lincoln
good.
with his freaking axe, and he's like
he's
flipping
got
around.
I wanted more of that and less of historical, like, I am the president now and we're at war now. And I liked the whole vampire horror movie aspect of it, like him with his weird superpower that's not really explained, I don't think.
Hatred drives him.
I guess. But like
Let the
I
hate
like
flow through you.
I liked that. But then they kind of like went off track with like, now we have to like pump in all of this history stuff and then we'll get back to the horror movie.
So you wanted less history and more alternative.
Or like a combination on the way up. Like it's only an hour and 45 minutes,
I mean,
but
this-
I felt like there was a lot. It like paused. It was like a horror movie up to this point, and then it was a history movie, and now it's a horror movie again.
Oh, I kind of liked how they mixed like the vampire society and in the South.
Yes.
And he was the one who had to fight it. I thought that was kind of cool.
I thought it was an interesting concept, and I was actually excited to watch this because of that. But like after I watched it, I was like, it was a little boring for me.
Boring.
I didn't see
I
boring.
didn't
out of
get
this.
boring at all. There's nudity for no reason, which is always appreciated.
Of course.
Martial arts,
Yep.
Abraham Lincoln, ending slavery, a birth of a nation, all happened in 1 hour and 45 minutes.
The only thing
You
that
know
could,
what? You've convinced me.
the only
It's
thing that could
amazing.
make this better is if it was
they made
Daniel
Mary-
Day-Lewis as Abraham Lincoln.
Oh my God. they gave us a hot Mary Todd Lincoln.
Right?
And I don't know if you've seen pictures of Mary Todd
I
Lincoln.
have.
Hot
She was a
as
sturdy woman.
Ooh, she was a sturdy gal.
severe, I think, is apt.
Yeah, she was not attractive and insane.
Yeah,
Apparently.
they basically cast not Liam Neeson in the role of Abraham Lincoln.
Was that who it was supposed to be?
No, it was
Oh,
just
okay.
like he looks just like
Yeah.
as close to Liam Neeson as you can possibly get without hiring Liam
He has a
Neeson.
very specific set of skills.
creepy that you said that. He does look
exactly like him.
like a young Liam, like a Rob Roy Liam Neeson.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah, like Liam Neeson from The Bounty with Mel Gibson. Did you ever watch that movie?
I've seen that movie,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's that Liam Neeson.
Well,
Right
who
there.
is this guy, by the way? Who is the actor?
His name is Benjamin Walker.
Yeah, but who is he?
Benjamin Walker.
He hasn't been in like a lot of stuff, but
He's the leading man in this movie.
Yeah,
he's
he
not
is.
Liam Neeson.
Is that
Discount Liam Neeson.
Discount Liam Neeson.
Candice, what did you think about this movie?
So I had seen this movie a long time ago when it first came out, and I was very interested in it because it's based on a book, and I'd always thought that the book sounded really intriguing. And the movie is actually quite a departure from the book, which is kind of odd considering that the guy who wrote the book, Seth Grahame-Smith, also wrote the screenplay for this. But the thing that actually got me really intrigued about this movie is the director. His name is Tamir Bekmambetov. I'm probably butchering that.
it's Russian? There's letters in it that don't even exist.
But he was kind of like Russia's version of Peter Jackson. He made these vampire movies in Russia, which were super popular. They were called Night Watch and Day Watch.
I was about to, same guy, right? Yeah.
Same guy. And I can remember when those came out in theaters in the early mid 2000s. And I went to go see them at like these art houses in LA, and I was like super impressed with like just like the visual style and the ingenuity and like his take on vampirism and stuff like that. And he had kind of built up this like hype around him that brought him to Hollywood. And his first Hollywood feature was Wanted with Angelina Jolie. And it was based on the Mark Millar comic book and stuff like that. And so like off the success of that, his next movie was this film. And so I was like, oh, like it's hyper stylized. It's Abraham Lincoln. It's based on this crazy book. And in the book, it's basically told as like a journal that Abraham Lincoln kept. So you see a journal in this movie. And so the format of the book is Abraham Lincoln's diary, basically, is what you're reading. And you're reading about his experiences with vampires. And actually, so the plot of the book is kind of different from the plot of the movie, where in the book, he finds out about these vampires, and the vampires are taking root in the South where they can own slaves and like eat the slaves. And their plan is to ultimately make slavery like across the board in the United States so that they can just like feed off of like whoever they want. And so once Abraham Lincoln finds out about this, he starts the anti-slavery movement and becomes a politician in order to prevent the vampires from eating people, basically, which is like his whole, he's not ending slavery to, I mean, like part of it is to, you know, help
For what's right.
to do what's right. But most of it's to save all of humanity, to keep the vampires from expanding their food source. And the Confederate army is filled with vampires. And so like he has to figure out ways in which his army can defeat like vampires and stuff like that. And the end of the book, actually, he ends up becoming a vampire.
What?
Yeah, it's a big departure from what the movie was. But instead of getting assassinated, the vampire who helped him out like turns him into a vampire against his will. And then there's a sequel to this book called American Vampire that focuses on Henry Sturgis, which is the good vampire that turns Abraham Lincoln. So Abraham's kind of like his like sidekick in the sequel to this book. But getting back to this movie, when I first saw it,
It's so deep, man.
I need to go read those books.
Dude, I want to read those books so bad right now.
when I first saw this movie, I was kind of like, I wasn't very impressed with it, and I kind of forgot about it. And then upon rewatching it, I was like, actually, like this movie is a lot of fun. So like, I had a good time like rewatching this film.
Nice. So Jude, you're the odd man out
Well,
on
this
this
was
one.
a first watch for me, so apparently that's how you do it. You watch
okay.
it first, you're disappointed, and then the next time I watch it, maybe I'll like it.
Okay, yeah. You need a second watch.
I think every movie on this list was like that. Like the first time you saw it, I'm just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But then you watch it a couple more times and, okay, I see what they're doing.
I gotta
here.
say, dude, I had a ton of fun this week with all three of these movies.
Yeah, these were all rewatches for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen all of these movies.
Hansel and Gretel and the Pride and Prejudice, those are both first watches for me. I was freaking blown away. I'm like, this is so freaking great.
So originally the director wanted Tom Hardy to play Abraham Lincoln.
I could see that.
Oh, that was
Wasn't Tom Hardy like 5'8" in English?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I thought you said 5'8" in English. I was like,
Yep. I did say 5'8" in English. I didn't say that.
yes, he is.
But
What is he in not
It
English?
sounds like you're
had,
from
like-
London.
Didn't he have like 5-inch freaking lifts when he played Bane?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he was wearing those platform
yeah, and
boots.
it was because he was doing The Dark Knight Rises that he couldn't commit to this movie.
What? It's all the same time?
Well, yeah, what year is this?
What year is this?
So
2012.
yeah, so this is 2012, which was the same year that Dark Knight Rises came out. And actually the screenplay for this movie,
That doesn't sound right. Are you sure it's 2012? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I did my research.
Oh.
so the screenplay for this movie was actually on this thing called the Blacklist, which is a list of the most liked unmade scripts in Hollywood. And it was
I've seen the movies that made us.
it was on the 2010 version of the Blacklist, and because of the hype that was surrounding it, that led to it getting made. And actually, like, it didn't blow up the box office, but it did pretty well.
It's at 100 million. That blew my freaking mind. Like I would assume that
basically
nobody
doubled
saw
its
this.
budget,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would assume nobody saw this movie.
Well, anything with Abraham Lincoln in it, people are just like, "Oh, that's cool."
Well, and vampires.
And
Yeah.
vampires.
Wait, when was Twilight?
I don't remember. I didn't watch any of those movies.
I'm
Jude?
going to say
Jude,
2010?
So this is still in vampire hotness.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
movie or the book? I think the book. I mean, the book obviously came out
I don't
first.
think either one matters.
Googling. I'm Googling it.
Well, vampires never go out of style.
No, vampires are always cool.
Yeah, vampires are still
If
in.
they're done well, they're always done. They're cool.
I think
But it
so.
is funny to see the cast of this movie, like where they are now compared to where they were back when this was made.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because this was like basically all unknowns at the time.
More than half of them are superheroes now.
Yeah.
The first Twilight movie came out in 2008.
Yeah, so this is right when vampire was
The
still
peak.
That's still a hot word. Like, ooh, vampire.
But this doesn't really like cater to the tween age
But it caters to men.
heartthrob.
But it caters to men.
Okay.
And their girlfriend goes, "Oh, I like vampires.
Oh, let's go watch this Abraham Lincoln movie.
Vampires are handsome men."
But Mary Elizabeth Winstead played Mary Todd Lincoln. Anthony Mackie showed up as Abraham Lincoln's childhood slave friend. Dominic Cooper, who was the king in Warcraft, and he was also a preacher in the TV show.
and he was Howard Stark in
that's
Captain
right.
America.
Oh,
That's right, yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Howard Stark.
Yeah, he was. Alan Tudyk shows up in an uncredited role.
That's right. I forgot he was in this movie. That's cool. He's like the merchant, right? The shop owner or something like that?
No, he's Stephen A. Douglas. So the guy who plays the shop owner is Jimmy Simpson, who played Joshua Speed.
Yeah, he's in everything.
Yeah, Jimmy Simpson, like he was in Westworld. But like he's one of those actors where you're just like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's in everything.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Alan Tudyk is in this movie.
Yeah,
Alan
Tudyk plays Stephen A. Douglas, who was like Lincoln's chief political rival when he was running for Senate.
Well, it was Mary Todd's boyfriend in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna steal your girl. I'm reading books, dog. I'm gonna learn stuff.
What's up, Jude?
I just got hired for the Gritty Truck Church sermon.
Yes.
What?
I
You
did
ever heard
an
about that?
audition for something called
doing-
Gritty Truck Church Sermon.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I really wanted it.
Live on the
I
podcast.
just got hired for it.
Jude got an email.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jude.
Cheers.
Sorry, I had to say
That's
it.
awesome.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Congratulations.
That is exciting.
Congratulations, babe.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Slutty Christian truck walk.
I was like, "I'm fucking perfect for this."
Congratulations, Jude.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, so yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's a guilty pleasure for sure. I'm not saying it's like it's not highbrow, great movie material, but it's an enjoyable watch for me. I'll sit down and watch this whenever. I just have fun with it. I don't take it seriously, and I don't think it takes itself seriously. There's a lot.
Yeah, it sounds right.
There's enough camp in it to be fun.
Like I love League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I have seen that movie 30 freaking times, and I won't tell anybody about it when I do it. I'm just watching it and just enjoying it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Tom Sawyer, how exciting. I really chalk this up with that. It was very much similar for me, where it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It has nothing to do with anything, but they're like, oh, look at Abraham Lincoln. What if he was a ninja? And you're like, and killed vampires with Dominic Cooper and Captain America.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch this.
What if he could twirl an axe
Really,
like a
really
baton?
well.
Yeah, and he can catch it and chop wood. Yeah, it's very exciting. Like,
Not only chop wood, but like blow up trees by hitting them.
Yes,
Yeah.
because of
All
his
he has to
hatred.
do is touch a tree with an axe, and that motherfucker blows the fuck up.
I mean, some of the set pieces in this movie were just completely bonkers. Like they have a high-speed horseback chase.
Yes.
Where it's like basically a stampede of horses.
Yeah.
Where Abraham Lincoln is fighting a vampire through the
completely
stampede.
believable.
Yeah, like it was bonkers.
And doesn't the vampire like throw one of the horses at one point?
He throws a horse at him.
Okay, when that
And
scene
he walks
happened,
away.
so this was a first watch for me. So when that scene happened, I said, "What the hell is going on in this movie?"
That's the right
And
response.
Candace was like, "Isn't it awesome?" And I was like, "Oh."
That was the scene that broke Jude while
The
watching
horse
this movie.
throwing
Yeah.
scene.
Just like they're like jumping on top of these like racing horses and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Because the rest of the movie, up until that point, was so believable.
That's true. Like, historically speaking,
It's got its finger on the pulse.
But then
Yeah.
like the other big set piece is at the end where they're on a train and they
Yeah.
have like this huge like train fight and stuff's blowing up and fires being set and it's just absolutely bonkers. Like those are the two big set pieces in this film. But I gotta admit, like I was entertained.
Yeah,
it's
I
fun.
was too.
When you said Wanted, the same director did Wanted, I can totally see it. And
Yeah.
I mean, the whole style and everything, the flow, it's the same director. And everyone liked Wanted, right?
I liked it. Yeah,
I didn't say we loved it. We all liked Wanted, right?
we
I'd watch
watched
it.
it.
We've all seen it more than once, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's-
Mostly for Angelina Jolie, but yeah,
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, she's in it.
Oh, you had Professor Xavier in it too.
Yeah, Professor X is in it.
he's not the real Professor X.
Morgan Freeman's in it. He is the real Professor X.
That's freaking Sir
If
Patrick
they-
Stewart.
If they put Patrick Stewart as the reboot, freaking, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm not gonna. what did I see? I saw Bryan Cranston is like eyeballed for Professor
I could
X.
see that.
Really?
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
think he'd be a great professor.
I thought when they were casting for the new DC universe, I thought he would be the perfect Lex Luthor.
Well, everybody said that, but you know who they went with?
Fucking Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse
Fucking
freaking Eisenberg. Yeah.
Yeah,
They went the other direction.
Thanks, Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder, exactly.
Like, we have to get this certain demo, and you don't cut the cake on that one, son. We have to get a young, weird Lex Luthor that doesn't skateboard, but you probably might.
Plays basketball.
The
Yeah.
stupid hair. All right.
Yeah, to everyone who like thinks that Zack Snyder's a genius, I just point to that casting choice.
Jesse Eisenberg. You
Jesse
just don't
Eisenberg.
understand the art, man.
It was definitely a casting choice.
Well, you know,
You
it's-
really opened up Pandora's box by talking about.
Oh, we're gonna get
anything
so many downvotes.
associated
Not the
with
Snyder
Zack
slide.
Snyder.
you know what's funny about Tamara Beckman-Batoff is that so after he did this movie, his next movie was Ben-Hur, which almost just killed his career.
Nobody
because-
watched that.
Yeah. That was
Well,
rough.
it lost like hundreds of millions of dollars and almost sank
Was it-
Paramount, I think.
Who was the guy in it? It was the
Morgan Freeman was in that movie.
He was actually the
That makes
British
sense.
officer in Sense and Sensibilities, or Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, I should say. So the guy who played like the British
I thought it
officer.
was Sam Worthington
No,
because he was the worst.
Oh,
He's
that's
in
the guy
some of
from,
the biggest movie of all time, and he's
Clash of the
the
Titans.
worst.
yeah,
Right?
Clash
yeah,
of the
Clash of the
Titans.
Titans, Avatar.
He's an Avatar though, and he's going to be in the next Avatar. I'm assuming.
I don't give a shit.
He's gonna be in
You
all,
don't like
all
Avatar?
five of them.
Fucking hate that movie, dude.
Oh my god! Did you see it in 3D in the
Yes.
theater?
It's
Did
terrible.
you see it on
On Wii?
You didn't like Avatar?
No, I hate that movie.
Oh,
It's so stupid.
It's not stupid.
It's just Dances with Wolves in Space.
I like that movie.
It's stupid.
I like Dances with Wolves.
I like Dancing with Wolves. I like Fern Gully. I like Last Samurai.
I like Dances with Wolves, Mama. You did show me its boobies, and I like them too.
All right. What is your favorite scene in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
That was the training montage.
With the axe baton?
I love a
thing?
training montage.
Okay.
Because I need a montage. Because all they do is just, who knows how much time goes by.
Nobody-
It's just
yeah.
little improvements along the way. Now he's a professional vampire killer. And
More
I
movies.
love it.
More movies need to use that.
I love a montage.
Yeah.
Love a
Little
montage.
A little montage.
Montage.
Because a lot of the time they'll introduce this
Even Rocky
character.
had a montage.
They'll introduce this character and they'll be like, "Oh, they're training," and they don't ever show it.
Yeah.
And then they show up at the final battle scene,
Ready. Shredded.
ready to go.
Shredded.
Like,
ready
when
to go.
did this happen? We need a
Yeah.
montage.
You need a montage.
The '80s montages need
Love
to
a
come back.
montage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Jude, what is your? Tell me what your, because I know you didn't like this movie.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that it wasn't that great for me. It wasn't so much fun. Like there were parts to it that I was like, oh, this is really fun.
Which parts
And,
were those?
All of the vampire parts.
Okay.
All of the parts where it was like a spooky horror movie with vampires. It was sufficiently creepy. The monsters were monstery. And I thought it really had potential to be like a really good campy horror movie. But then I felt like it took itself a little seriously and it became a historical drama. But also there's vampires. And I was like, bro, figure it out.
Okay. Kish, how about you, bud? What's your guilty pleasure moment for this movie?
So I really liked where he was actually hunting the vampires before like, you know, he got into all the politics and stuff where he would like go out at night and he'd like hunt these guys down in their like little like shops or like whatever. And something would always go wrong and he'd have to like deal with it. I thought that was really cool. But the part at the end where it flashes forward to like regular times and it's like kind of a reflection of what Henry Sturgis did with Abraham Lincoln, where he's at a bar with some other guy who's like texting and the internet's always been like, which president's this? Is this Bill Clinton or George W. Bush? And I could just see a sequel where it's like George W. Bush, Vampire Hunter.
Oh my god.
That would be dope. Will Ferrell as George W.
Yeah,
Bush.
Bill Clinton, Vampire Hunter. I'm going to go kill this vampire, okay?
For me, my moment that I always think about when I watch this movie is actually the flashback scene where the vampire kills the guy's wife right in front of him. Like that was a brutal scene, and just that actor, I love that actor. I could watch him freaking paint a fence.
Rufus Sewell.
Yeah, he's cool. I love him in everything he's in.
in your favorite show, Man in the High Castle.
Yes, he is. He's the main Nazi villain
He's
in
so
that show.
scary. What's up with
He's
it?
so terrifying.
It's the veins.
It's, yeah,
under the
there's
eye.
something going on with that dude's
Yeah,
eyes.
he's got like one like off eye.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was in Dark City.
He was in.
Yeah. Well, he's the lead in Dark
Knight's
City,
Tale.
right?
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
the
Knight's
bad guy in
Tale.
Knight's
He was the bad guy in
He's
the Knight's Tale.
almost always the bad guy.
He was also
Yeah.
in Hercules, which we just watched with The Rock.
Yes, yeah, he was. Every time he shows up on screen, I'm like, oh,
He's cool.
That's my guy.
It's like Mars Madsden. Like I'm like, oh yeah,
Yes.
I'm into that guy.
You
Yes.
mean Mads Mikkelsen?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mars Missiles Madsden. you guys knew exactly what I was talking about.
Well, you talked about Valhalla Rising, I think it's called.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
that's a freaking cool ass movie. And
Hell
he's-
yeah. No one's seen it.
No.
And it's
I have, and you have.
Oh yeah,
There's two people in the
I
universe.
saw it in the theater, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Like I saw Crash in the theater, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I went through a freaking emotional roller coaster.
I have yet to watch that movie specifically to avoid that roller coaster.
I was dating some girl, and she was like, "We got to go to this movie." And the trailers are all movies I've never heard of before, and I'm like, "This is not going to go well." And halfway through it, I'm just like gripping my chest and just like, don't do it. Don't. They shot the little girl. She was so sweet.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you just saw Crash?
No.
Oh my God.
Is that different than what was the other one? Traffic? There was like 2 movies that came out at the same time. That
Crash had like, it was very racially driven. It was just racist. It was LA racism, basically. Okay. Yeah. And like the cop was a racist. Everyone's a racist. Yeah. Everyone's a bastard.
But the racist ends up being the one who's like the hero at the end.
Yeah. Like it's like, he's forced to confront who he is.
It won like a ton of Oscars, didn't it?
I want to say it was Best Picture.
Yeah, something like that.
The Traffic was more like LA Drugs, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones was in that.
That was a Steven Soderbergh movie.
Okay.
And Crash was, I think, what's his name? I forget his name, but like he blew up after that movie.
Yeah, it was a big deal. That movie blew my mind. It was a lot. And it was early. I mean, that was like 2003 or something.
I get it confused with that David Cronenberg movie about people who like get turned on by being in car accidents.
Oh, yeah. I thought that's the movie that we were talking about.
I thought that was a Robert Rodriguez movie called Death Proof.
1996 Crash, 2004 Crash, and 2008 Crash.
What?
Is it James Spader, Don Cheadle, or Dennis Hopper?
Don Cheadle?
I have no idea.
Don Cheadle, Sandra Bullock.
We're not even talking about vampires anymore.
Anyway, Abraham Lincoln.
Tom, star rating for this movie.
Is this out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 5. Are you constipated?
I'm just trying to get it out.
There's people out here listening audio only.
I know. I'm like, I'm trying to get a number out and it won't come out. It's
okay.
Like, I want to say 4, but it can't be.
Oh shit!
It
can't be.
Have a demon in you?
It can't be 4. It can't be 4. It's like a 3. It's like a 3.
Okay.
Look, it's fun. It's good. If you liked Wanted and you like vampires, you will enjoy this film.
Okay.
That's
Ish.
it. Yeah.
All right. Jude, how about you?
Unless you're a girl.
5-star rating.
I'm gonna give it the girl rating.
Yeah, give it a girl.
For me, it's middle of the road. It's a 2.5 wonky-eyed vampires out of 5.
Dead center. Okay. Candice, how about you, bud?
I agree with Tom. I think that this is definitely a 3-star movie. I think my initial rating was 2 stars because when I first saw it, I didn't think it was all that great. But upon rewatch, like, this is a fun film. So like I jacked it up to like a good solid 3-star, like, entertaining movie. So yep, 3 freed slaves out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there.
Okay.
Is that a proclamation?
I'm going to agree.
Wait, was that a 3/5 compromise?
I don't know if we're going to allow. What are we allowed to say on the podcast? I don't know. Woo, go to saltynerdclub.com so we don't get taken down.
We have to take his whole rating off.
We're talking about history.
Is it? Whatever.
Yeah, freeing slaves is a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. All right, 3 for me. It's a 3 thrown horses out of 5. That's my rating.
Safer, much safer.
You can throw horses. I don't give a shit about PETA. They can. All right,
fuck those guys.
Fuck Greenpeace. Fuck the whales.
I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A in a minute too.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'm gonna put on my fur coat. Go eat some meat.
All right, guys, that's it for Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Go check it out. It's really worth a watch. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back after a word from these messages. We're going to talk about Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. Welcome back, everybody. If you guys like what we do here and you want to support the podcast, go to saltynerdstore.com. That's where you can get awesome swag like this. You can rock our logo that we've got on. We also got a ton of other designs there that are made by me and Mr. Kadish over here. And we would really appreciate you if you have bought some of our stuff, take a picture of it with you wearing it and send it to us, and we will shout you out on the social medias and spread the word because we love seeing our swag out there. It's pretty cool. All right. Next up is Jeremy Renner's Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. Take it away, Jude. Go for it.
2013, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
Are you practicing for the trucker voice? Is that what...
Are we going to do the budget first?
Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 28 minutes. This had a budget of $50 million. What do you think this brought in?
Not bad. 50 million. I'm going to say it brought in 100. Doubled.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the double. Yeah, I feel like the cast is good enough.
Yeah.
Do you know, Kadish?
I do.
Okay. $226 million.
That's awesome.
If you're
How do
mind
these
blown?
How do these movies make this money?
Overseas. That's a worldwide
Oh, is that what
Oh,
it is?
okay.
Oh, is that what it is? It's like Pacific Rim made $50 in America, but it made $7 trillion in China alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Tell me what it's all about.
All
Still,
right.
that's good money.
There's something special about the witch hunting brother and sister team. They've always been immune to witch magic, which makes them really good at their job. They go from town to town finding and burning witches because the only good witch is a dead witch. That is until they unknowingly come to the town where they lived as children. Rescuing what turns out to be a good witch, they uncover childhood memories from where they came and learn that there's more than one kind of witch, which will come in handy when they go head to head against the Grand High Witch and her coven, who are preparing for a ritual that will make them invincible.
This movie was freaking badass.
It was a hoot.
It
I had
was
a lot of fun with it.
freaking badass.
This was also a first watch for me.
Yeah, me too. They never shied away from the gore.
Yeah.
They went full on. It was amazing. The practical effects were freaking on point. There was very minimal amount of CGI, which I really appreciated. Even the big troll guy was like a puppet.
Yeah, but the real star of this movie was that fake pumpkin that Jeremy kept handling. Every
That
time it was
whole
on
scene,
screen.
I was like, that's a fake pumpkin.
Yeah, every time that was on screen, she was like, "There's that fake pumpkin."
I didn't notice the fake pumpkin. What was it? When
It
did
was,
that?
it was like shiny plastic looking. I was
Really?
like, this is a fake pumpkin.
Anyway, this is my first watch. I had no idea that this movie was that good. Like, I had so much fun. The fight scenes were brutal. Jeremy Renner and what's the actress he was co-starring
She was
with?
also in Hercules, right?
Yeah, no, she was in Clash of the Titans.
that's the one,
her
yeah.
name is Gemma Atherton.
Gemma.
She's in a lot of things.
Their chemistry
She
together
was in
worked
Prince of
really
Persia.
well.
Yeah, she's really hot sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
She can kind of ugg it up a little bit in
Yeah.
certain movies.
Prince
Me
of
too,
Persia,
man.
she was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like-
She was also a Bond girl, I think.
Yeah, she was
Was
Bond girl. Yeah,
she?
yeah, she was a
Yeah.
Bond girl. Mhm.
Oh, which one?
The-
Brosnan?
I
it's
think
the
she
new
was
one.
Quantum of Solace, wasn't it?
No, I think it's the new
No.
one. I think it's the new one coming out. She's in that one.
I
looked it up.
I just watched that one.
The new Bond.
Yeah, the newest one.
The one that nobody watched.
I'll tell you why later.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, their chemistry together was really cool. I enjoyed the hell out of the
It's
witches.
kind of funny because they're playing twins.
Yeah, I thought it was kinda
Jeremy is
sexual.
like 15 years older than her in real life.
like obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But their relationship was also weirdly sexual.
No,
I didn't get that at all.
I got that big time.
Well, it's because
I
you have a
thought-
dirty mind.
I felt like there was some weird chemistry. But I
Yeah,
was like,
that's-
twins are kind of weird.
That's
Like-
why you
like-
two are, friends.
like neither one of them really wanted to bang anybody else.
I don't know. Jeremy banged that witch.
Nah,
the good witch.
he was not into it.
He
was like-
she was like, what do you think of my tits? And he was like, they're all right.
Yeah. She's like, the ass? He's like, I'm not really an ass man. And she whips those things around and goes, oh, those are way bigger than I thought they'd be. All right, I'll go swimming.
He's like, let me tell you about my sister, though.
My sister's tits, though. So perky.
So,
I find it interesting how many female characters wear corsets in movies like these.
I do love a
Doing action
corset.
stuff.
Speaking corsets, did you guys watch Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies? Because there were some A cups doing some work in that movie.
we'll get there in a couple
Doing
minutes.
work.
We'll get there. No, the aesthetic of this movie, it felt almost Tim Burton-ish. Like
He's a producer.
I can see that.
Was he the producer?
Yeah, he's a
Was he?
producer.
Yeah, but the director credited Sam Raimi as
that
a
makes
big
sense.
influence.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So yeah, the aesthetic, the tone of it, I felt like that. I love the witches. How they all look like gnarly. Like those were people you do not want to f with.
Oh,
Why did I say that?
It was funny because Famke Jensen, who plays like the main bad witch in this
She's
movie,
the Grand High Witch.
Yeah.
yeah, she said in an interview, I basically did this movie to pay off my mortgage. It's like I needed a paycheck to cover my house, so like she agreed to be the witch in this movie. Jude actually was telling me a story about how she's like extremely shy, almost to the point of
She's like
awkwardness.
super awkward in real life. I have not met her, but a good friend of mine did. And he worked at a coffee shop, and a friend of us came in with her and said, "Oh, so and so, this is Famke." And he was like, "Oh, hi, my name's this." And he went to shake her hand, and she went like this, "Famke."
Wow.
Wow.
And that was all they said.
I mean,
And then
now
they got
that you
their coffee
say
and left.
that, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because her acting is very much like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the X-Men movies and she's not likable. She's not likable in this. She's not likable in anything, but she is very pretty.
She's Ivana on the top.
Ivana on the top.
Yeah, another Bond girl.
Yeah.
What a name.
And one of my favorite Bond movies ever, GoldenEye.
Well, GoldenEye it was so bad for so long. And then GoldenEye came out and we're like, it's good again. And then the video game came out.
Yes.
How much GoldenEye did you play?
Oh my God, dude. Hours.
Hours
and
on the
hours.
4 screen.
Yeah. Yes.
It's one of the best games ever made.
Dude, I would play with 4 people on a square this big.
Yes.
And I would be odd job because you'd be short. And then you're yelling at each other because you're looking at each other's screens. Oh man, that was a good time.
Yep.
You have a Bigfoot pizza and a Mountain
We used
Dew.
to put like
Those
if
were
we
the
did
days.
the split screen, we used to put a piece of cardboard
Whoa.
to separate it so we couldn't screen look.
Wow.
Yeah, we went hard.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I used to work in Hollywood.
Oh, no, I don't know that.
And Jeremy Renner was in my movie that I made.
That is true.
The one movie I made.
Wait, it's right
Movie
behind
poster
you.
behind you.
It's right behind you.
Yeah. So
Right there.
Yeah,
The Outside Man.
The Outside Man. And so like I've always been a big Jeremy Renner fan because, you know, not only getting to know him personally, but like just from acting wise, like he's always been, that's why I cast him in my movie. I was like, this guy's super talented. And so like I always like to support Jeremy in all of his endeavors whenever I can. And when this movie came out, I was like, I can't watch this. I think I'm going to hate it. And I don't want to hate a movie that Jeremy's in.
Did you hate this movie?
I did not hate this movie. Like this was a first watch for me. And when I watched it, I was like, oh, thank God this is a fun movie. Because I don't know if my heart could have taken it if I hated a Jeremy Renner movie.
So what
You're so loyal, Kadish.
what did you like about it?
I am. It was just fun. It was kind of like, it felt like a Sam Raimi movie. Like the whole concept is that Hansel and Gretel, what happened after they got away from the witch when they were kids? And in this movie, it answers the question is, oh, they grew up to be witch hunters. And it kind of had, you know, the director even said that he was going for kind of an Army of Darkness feel to it.
Very Army of Darkness.
Yeah, where like the witches are kind of like the Deadites and stuff like that. And,
Dead by Dawn.
yeah, Dead by Dawn. And the 2 main characters are just running around doing some crazy action. And it was like I expected the movie to be bad, and it wasn't.
Same. I thought it would be campy but boring.
Yeah.
And it was the right kind of campy and fun. And I was very pleasantly surprised. And I really like the weapons in this too.
Yeah, like there is a kind of like a sci-fi element to it, but it's one of those things where it takes place in like the 1800s, and Jeremy has like perfectly coiffed and product hair and stuff like that. But one of the things that did get me and irked me every time
Was it the fake pumpkin?
Well, no, that was you. For me, it was the use of diabetes.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever.
Yeah.
Well, it was the sugar, right?
Yeah. Well, so
is
the
that what they
thing
went
was-
with? Is that what they?
sugar sickness?
Yeah. So the thing was is that Hansel, when he was a kid, and he was forced by the witch to eat a bunch of sugary candy. He got diabetes. From
Diabetes.
Freaking hilarious.
My name's Wilford
and
Brimley.
so like as an adult, he has to take these injections of insulin every couple hours in order to keep from dying. And if he goes too long without his insulin injection, he becomes super weak and he like passes out and dies basically. And so like in inopportune times in the action scene, sometimes like he won't have taken his insulin. And so like he gets all weak and stuff. And I'm sitting there because I'm a diabetic. And I'm watching this. I'm like, that's not how diabetes works.
But I liked that initial scene in the beginning with the witch from the candy house or whatever. And she's like, eat! And she's like forcing...
Shoving it down his throat.
And I thought it was cute because it was just, you know, nostalgic from... We've all read the Hansel and Gretel fairy tale. And I just thought it was a cute little nod at that because you have to put it in if you're going to make this movie.
But what's funny is like diabetes as like a sickness. It's like if you have too much sugar, you know, your body eventually just like can't handle all the food that you eat, and it starts shutting down basically, and you die, and you get nerve damage and all this other stuff. And if you don't get enough sugar, your blood sugar drops, and like, you know, you pass out and potentially fall into a coma and die. So like there's like a lot of ways that can complicate your life, but it's not like if you're in the middle of a fight, especially like in a time period where you're not eating a lot of sugar, because like back in the 1800s, it's just like, you know, you're lucky if you get a salad.
There wasn't a lot of sugar in the 1800s, was there?
Yeah, exactly. That's why the candy stuff was so enticing to the kids,
Right.
is because like it's not readily available. But like as he's like fighting this like witch, and he's just like, oh no, my insulin.
He has like a little timer on his wrist and it starts ticking.
Yeah, I was like, that's the one thing that took me out of this movie. But
So-
other than that, it was a lot of fun.
As a diabetic, how many times have you been in fights
With witches.
with witches?
Specifically.
And your diabetic clock went off. How many times did you die?
A couple.
Okay.
I'm not a very good fighter.
Well, that's why you have a twin sister to help you out.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The thing that I kind of like, once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it, is that Jeremy Renner's shotgun looks awfully lot like a veiny penis.
Oh.
And
Now
now I just broke the glass for you, didn't I?
Oh, now I can't unsee
No, you
it.
can't unsee it. And every time you would hold it up and like aim it at somebody, I'm like, oh.
It is.
Dude's like, show me more of that gun.
It was kind of throbbing.
It was a little throbbing. It was a very weird artistic choice for the weapon.
Well, I'll
But
tell you the
whatever.
one that I couldn't unsee. The girl. What's her name again? The Gretel.
Gretel?
The Gretel? No, the actress.
I can't remember.
Gemma.
Atherton.
Gemma.
Yeah, Gemma. Okay, she's very attractive, and in this
Yeah.
movie, it's kind of dumbed down a little bit. No, you can't tell. She's very plain in this one. Have you seen Prince of Persia? You know
No,
what that
I
shit looks
haven't.
like.
Oh yeah, Prince of Persia.
It's insane.
She is insanely
It's
good looking in that
insane.
movie.
I gotta go
Yeah,
watch
it's
it. That's the
insane.
one with Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's all tan. She's got this long dark hair.
Oh yeah,
like-
she's
like,
Princess Jasmine,
Yeah, she was
like on
gorgeous.
steroids. It's crazy.
Nice.
It's really crazy.
Gorgeous in that movie.
So in this one, she's like kind of wearing this and that. Every time she gets her ass kicked real good, she ends up ass up. And I'm like, I get what you're doing here because I noticed it every single time.
That's hilarious.
Oh no, it's fine. She's hot. You're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, she is. Look at that. Oh,
So
Oops.
What's funny is that the director of this movie, his name is Tommy Wirkola.
Why so?
No,
oh
Tommy.
my God, is it Tommy Wiseau?
No, it was Tommy Wirkola.
It's Tommy Wiseau with a mustache. He's like, no, Tommy Wiseau. This is the #1 movie. He's a beautiful man.
So he's actually a German filmmaker, but he was going to film school in Australia where he came up with the idea for this, and he pitched it to Paramount, and Paramount was just like, "We love it. Let's make this movie." And so like this was like one of his first like big budget movies, and he hasn't really made anything.
What
since
year was
then.
this movie?
2013.
Yeah,
13.
yeah.
Interesting.
So it's been a while, and it made enough money where you'd think like,
Made a lot of money.
yeah, like he'd probably want to make a sequel or do
I was
like a different
surprised.
movie.
That's
After-
not how Hollywood works, and you know it.
Yeah,
No, well,
I do.
after I saw what it brought in, I was surprised that we didn't get a bunch of sequels.
Ooh, gross. But we could have had like other
Yeah,
Hans
other
Christian
fairy
Andersen
tales,
fairy
yeah.
tales that didn't really add up, but that's
The
fun.
Tooth Fairy.
Sure.
could have went all the way.
Yeah. I was watching a show. It's a movie. I'm gonna say it's on Netflix, and it has the one chick from Jessica Jones, and she plays a witch, and she's in an apartment, and she traps these 2 children. And I watched it recently, and it's all about candy and witchcraft.
It's Hansel and Gretel.
It's kind of like a Hansel and Gretel, but it's modernish. But I don't want to spoil it because I don't want to do spoilers. But I watched that recently. It's more for children, and I'm not too sure why I watched it. But the whole time I was like, oh yeah, witches and candy. That's a thing. Why is witches and candy a thing?
Because it's a way to lure in children.
I mean, so
Damn stupid children.
is Vans and candy.
That's a good point.
Anyway,
So is candy.
Tom,
Kids don't need a lot.
final thoughts, favorite moment. What's
Human
your favorite
trafficking is real.
moment? Yes, it is.
Stop
And
skirting
it's
around it,
not
Alex.
funny.
Yeah. I'm trying
Don't
to-
make me laugh
I'm
with your
trying to-
stupid face.
I'm trying to point us down a road that we need to touch on this show.
No, we do not.
And it's human trafficking.
My favorite part of this movie is when they touched on human trafficking.
Yeah.
That's a very serious discussion. And if you want to donate to our website,
You better have thought this
Just
through.
kidding.
Okay.
continue, Tom.
Tom, favorite moment and
Okay.
Sign our petition.
So this is one of those movies that you watch and it seems like a family-friendly movie. And on face value, right? And as you're watching it, it's ultra violent. It has nudity. It's very aggressive. They beat the shit out of women. It's something you don't see very often. That's my favorite part of this movie. is that while on one hand it seems very PG, it is not at all.
It's rated R.
It's like I know, but it seems it's like the cartoon
Like if-
Invincible. It seems stupid and cartoony, and then all of a sudden someone's spine gets ripped out and raped, and you're like, "What is happening?" So that's kind of like it's the second or third time I've seen this movie. I'm not a fan of it. It was more fun this time than the first time I saw it because it's just too stupid for me. But I mean, kung fu witches and all it gets a bit much for me. And then the witch council at the end, I'm just like, oh God, here we go. All right.
Bunch of women talking about empowerment.
They mowed them down with a machine gun.
I'm aware. I saw the film.
Yeah, well, they had another woman mow them down with a machine gun.
Yeah,
that's
so fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite moments are like the parts that remind you this is an R-rated movie.
The brutality.
Yeah,
of
well,
it.
yeah, the senseless nudity, the ultra violence, like
Yeah.
the ogre smashes the one dude's head that we all love.
Yes.
Just smashes his head, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ultra violence and the gratuitous nudity were probably my favorite parts of this film because it
Okay.
makes you go, oh, it is like a R-rated movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jude, how about you? What's your favorite moment?
So I thought that this movie was a hoot. It was a lot of fun. I say that a lot. It's a hoot. But my favorite part was we were watching a movie about a like a Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, and then there are these witches. And I just thought it was so silly. And I don't know why I loved it so much. But when they were flying on their broomsticks, I was like, ha ha! Ooh, on the broomstick, because they're witches.
That was a big part of this movie.
I thought it was hilarious. I loved it.
Okay.
You do love Harry Potter.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Kadish, I'm kidding.
She's been to.
Kadish.
Sir, come August, you're gonna wish you hadn't said that to me.
No.
Because I get to choose the movies in August.
Gross. Have you seen those movies? Oh, they are
They're
hard to watch. They are
terrible.
hard to
I
watch.
saw the first one. It was
Oh boy.
anyway.
God.
Kadish, what's your favorite moment?
So my favorite moment. So there's an ogre named Edward in this movie,
Yes.
and I had a theory that Edward was like previously like Hansel and Gretel's dad and got turned into an ogre, but apparently that wasn't the thing. So he's just an ogre. And ogres serve witches, like that's their thing. If you're like a witch, like they have to do what you tell them to do. And it turns out that Gretel is part witch because her mother was like a white witch and used spells to protect them from dark magic and stuff like that. And there's a scene in this movie where Gretel is kind of captured by the sheriff's kind of henchmen.
What's his name?
The sheriff's name is Sheriff Berenger.
No, damn it, the actor.
Oh, Peter Stormare.
Yes, he's in
Stormare.
everything, and
He's
we
in
all love
everything.
him.
He always plays a German or a Russian bad guy.
Yes.
Yes.
So no typecasting at all there.
I love him and everything.
Yeah, but there's a scene there where like the ogre Edward sees Gretel kind of getting manhandled by these guys, and he just goes out and like slaughters all of them. Like he's like ripping their heads off, he's like stomping on them, and like they just like blow up like a ripe tomato, you know. And there's actually a unrated version of this movie that has like extra scenes in it where
That's the one I
it's like a lot more violent. And that scene, because we watched the R-rated version, that scene in the unrated version, they're actively about to rape Gretel in that scene where like all the sheriff's men are like, yeah, this chick's hot, let's bang her.
Yeah.
Let's run a train on this bitch.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they said. Yeah.
And that
If you're gonna kill her, you might as well rape
Shoot,
her.
they were the guy was taking his pants off, and he's like, "When I'm done with her, you guys can have them yourself, if there's anything left."
Ew.
Yeah, it was dark.
yeah, and that was the reason why Edward got so worked up, is because he saw them like getting ready to rape this girl, and so he came and rescued her by killing these guys in the most horrible way
Brutal.
possible.
Yeah.
And it's like when you have that context to that scene, it makes so much more sense. But like in the R-rated version, it's just like, ooh, that ogre's like really mean.
No, they deserved it.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite moments too. But I think for me, my favorite is I'm with Tom. Just the brutality of
Yeah.
it. Like this movie did not shy away from that. There's people getting their heads cut off. There's people getting squished like a grape. It's amazing. The brutality, the gore, it's all there. This is not a family friendly movie, and I was all for it.
All for
like
it.
this is great. I watched the unrated version, so I don't know how much is like cut out compared to the regular version, but I had a blast with this movie.
Yeah, I remember you texting us. You were like, "This movie's bananas."
Yeah.
And Vader's just like, "What?" Because he wasn't watching any of the
Oh,
movies.
that's
with us.
right. Oh, that's right. He didn't watch these movies this week. Man, I wonder what he would have thought.
We should give it a rating.
Yes, we should. Tom, out of 5.
It has to be lower than Abraham Lincoln because I don't really care for this movie. This is just a 2.5. It's nothing wrong with it. I'm just not a big fan. I've seen this movie a couple times. It's just corny. It's stupid.
Okay.
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
It's not bad. It's just
Jude?
I had a great time with it. It was the first watch, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be dumb and boring, which is why I hadn't watched it before. Because, I'm a horror girl, and I usually devour all of those movies. And I didn't watch this because I thought it was going to be dumb. I was very pleasantly surprised with this. And for me, it is a 3.5 trolls
Wow.
out of 5.
Nice. Kadish, how about you, bud?
So this was a first watch for me, and I was surprised at how much fun I had watching this movie. I have to give it a solid 3 diabetes out of 5. Just because, like, number one, it's a Jeremy Renner movie, and I can't say anything bad about Jeremy Renner movies. And it was a blast. It was up there with Abraham Lincoln in the sense that it's a ridiculous film. And if you go into it wanting like a serious movie, you're not going to be happy. But like if you're a fan of like Army of Darkness, this is a very Army of Darkness-esque movie. It's got that kind of camp to it. It's got that sense of humor, but it's also got great crazy action and kind of cartoonish like villains and stuff like that. It's a good twist on the original fairy tale. So I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching it.
Cool. For me, this is better than Abraham Lincoln. It's a 3.5 penis-looking shotguns out of 5. I had, yeah. It makes you think when he starts cocking that thing. Cocking it. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I was blown away by how brutal it was, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. All right, everybody, that's it for Hansel Gretel Witch Hunters. Definitely go check this movie out and check out the unrated version. I highly suggest that. That's the one I watched. And before we move on, we're going to listen to a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be right back, and then we're going to talk about Pride and Prejudice and zombies. Hey, everybody, if you guys would like to join our crazy little community, go to saltynerddiscord.com. That is where the action happens. We have a fantastic group of people over there who chat about all the TV shows and movies that we watch. It's a really great place to hang out and just escape the nonsense of the world and talk about movies with us. So come join us, saltynerddiscord.com. It is a fun and fantastic community. Shout out to all of you guys that are in there right now. We really appreciate you, and we love having you in our little Discord server. All right. The next movie on our list today is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
And zombies.
Take it away, Jude. What is this movie all about?
2016, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour 48 minutes. This had a budget of $28 million. What do you think this brought in?
82 million.
Tom?
82 million.
Worldwide?
Yes. Budget of 28.
100 million. This is unknowable.
16.
Aww.
Thank God. Yes. Yes. This movie is stupid.
Oh, this was my favorite.
This was it? Nice.
I watched this with a woman and she loved it.
Okay, Tom's about to purse his lips at me, but I actually read the book.
There's a book?
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. It's based on a novel.
So
the book was better, I bet.
So this is based on a novel, and the guy who wrote this book was the same guy who wrote Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Ah, okay.
Seth Grahame-Smith.
Yeah.
All right. Take it away, Jude.
So the Bennett sisters are highly trained in the deadly arts and also the female arts. In these days, it is indeed important for a lady to be able to take a zombie's head as elegantly as she does the dance floor. Mr. Bennett, a man who always pays his debts, get it? Prides his girls as warriors, having trained them in the Chinese Shaolin style of weaponry and martial arts. But Mrs. Bennett, fearing for their futures, is on a mission to secure husbands with fortunes for her daughters. Miss Elizabeth Bennett vows to never trade in her weapons for a ring, focusing on her training and thwarting the advances of suitors. When her sister falls in love with the very wealthy Mr. Bingley, she meets his bestie, the very disagreeable Mr. Darcy, whom she loves to hate. As the zombie problem grows, so too do the feelings between Darcy and Lizzie, who keep running into each other in dire circumstances just in the nick of time.
This is my first watch for this movie. This is way more Pride and Prejudice than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
Okay.
It is Pride and Prejudice.
It is, yeah.
It is Pride and Prejudice.
They went full on.
And
with that.
zombies.
Yes. And
Yeah.
and zombies literally translates to like, yeah, there's a little bit of zombies in here.
Lowercase and zombies.
Yeah, and zombies.
It's like over here. Yeah.
It took itself very seriously as far as the Pride and Prejudice part
yeah.
goes, which I was really surprised at. I did not expect that.
But I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, is because it fully embraced both equally, and I just thought it was
By a raise of hands, who's read Pride and Prejudice? Not a one. Good for you. Good for you. I think we're supposed to, aren't we? Isn't that like it's in like Where the Red Fern Grows and then Pride and Prejudice?
It's the movie that
we all read Where the Red Fern Grows, right?
If my wife is in a really bad mood and I'm like, we're trying to figure out a date night, it's Pride and Prejudice night. We'll sit down, we'll have some wine and hang out.
My God.
My brain goes,
So you got a lot of Downton Abbey? Bridgerton.
Actually, Downton Abbey's pretty badass.
It's really good.
Sucks so bad.
It's really good.
That show's freaking cool.
What happens when you get married? You just agree to whatever dumb crap your wife wants
You're
you to watch.
standing on this hill
my
alone.
brother's like, oh, I really like Downton Abbey.
How's it feel being single and 40?
Have you watched Downton Abbey?
Wealthy?
Feels great. More people should do it.
I have a lot of money and free time. What do you have?
No money and no time.
There you go.
Therefore, his life is empty, but yours is fulfilled.
Yeah, that's also true.
Have you watched Downton Abbey?
I'm not going to. But my little brother does watch the Great British Bake Off and Downton Abbey.
It's so good.
That's what every girl says, and therefore that's his opinion now too.
You know what's funny is for the longest time I was like, I don't have any interest in Downton Abbey.
Here we
Just
go.
didn't bother to watch it.
Downton.
Jude dragged me to the movie. I watched the movie, really liked the movie. So I was like, let's go back, watch the show. We ended up binging all 6 seasons. It's really good.
It's really freaking good.
You know what we should do? We should all do a testosterone test and see who has more testosterone and more estrogen. Because I'm going to assume mine's higher.
You'd be wrong.
Whoa!
I supplement. No, I'm kidding.
Do you? Joe Rogan does.
Well, that's because he's like 55.
Yeah.
And a freaking ape. That's crazy. All right. So anyway, this movie, I enjoyed it, but not as much as I thought I would. It was a little bit. There was a tipping of the scales where I wanted more zombies, and this was very much like this is not Downton Abbey, but this is Pride and Prejudice. Yeah. There's a lot of inner workings. I liked the relationships; they were kind of fun. I liked how the girls were like badass, like ninjas, like trained in the freaking Chinese arts of fighting. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting. I wanted more of that.
Well, they weren't ninjas; they were Shaolin.
Oh, sorry.
And I liked that too, that there was like a differentiation between like how you're trained in the society.
Yeah.
The poor are trained in the Chinese arts, but the wealthy are trained in the Japanese arts. And I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, there's a lot of world building that I think they could have really explored a lot more. But I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was very interesting and very fun.
Yeah.
And the zombie aspect, I don't know, when they went full on like zombies could think and like organize, that started to get a little weird for me. I didn't know where they were going with that. But on a whole, I think this is a solid movie.
I don't know. We also had Zack Snyder zombie movie, and that made probably less sense than this did.
Oh, a lot less sense.
Oh, don't say Zack Snyder. Kate is just going to start talking.
More downvotes.
Here we go again.
More downvotes. Look, every time we talk about Zack Snyder, we get at least 20 thumbs down on our videos.
I mean, I love look. Zack Snyder's very hit and miss. We all saw Sucker Punch.
No,
I mean, it's cute.
it's fun.
It's not a
But
movie.
it's not good.
It's not a movie. It's like
Listen,
it's like a music video.
If a Zack Snyder fan clicked on this video, they're not still watching.
Good
This
point.
is the third movie we're talking about.
You're an hour
They
and a half
checked
in.
out a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So, Tom, what are your general thoughts on this one?
okay. This is the second time I've seen it. I saw it in the theater once.
The theater?
Okay.
The theater.
Relax.
So you're part of that 16 million that it made?
I've seen a lot of movies. I'm not going to say they're all good. Okay.
Listen, I've dated a lot of bitches. I wouldn't say they were all good.
That's true. Look. We all got to do what we got to do. Okay. It was the first time I saw it. I was very excited for Victorian kung fu ninja fighting zombies. And like you said, it is 95% Pride and Prejudice and 5% zombie. And when they're actually fighting, it is not impressive. It's actually really disappointing. The fighting is not there. So the first time I saw it, I mean, I was super checked out. I hated it to death. These two told me I had to watch it again. I was like, God, I've seen it once. So I watched it, was it Sunday afternoon with a friend of mine, a lady friend. She was so into it because of the girl power aspect.
Yeah.
And I really didn't even notice that it's so girl power. I just didn't, because I don't know, macho or something. It didn't even occur to me that it's a super girl power movie. The women empowerment and the women standing up for themselves and fighting and they're taking on this leadership role and they're in the front and they're not backing down from who they are. And as she's explaining this to me from that perspective, I got a new interest in it. And I actually started to, I'm not gonna lie, enjoy this stupid ass movie because it is dumb and it's stupid. But you know what? Two things came out of this. One, I never have to read in Pride and Prejudice because I have a really good idea what happens. Really good idea. And two, the corset does amazing things.
Corsets are good. Good.
I recently gave you the corset.
You did. I appreciated it. we in the same gym.
Wait. Let me explain.
Let's roll that back a little bit.
We go to the same gym.
Yeah.
But when he signed up, it came with all of these extras,
Yeah,
and
they
it
give
had
me-
like the waist cincher thing, and he was like,
Yeah.
"I'm never gonna use this," and he gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, I use it all the time."
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
It's like a hot yoga class.
Yeah.
So they give you all this like girl stuff, like
Yeah, yeah.
bands and waist trainers and all. I mean, I got a whole lot of stuff. And I'm not going to put a waist trainer
Hot
on.
yoga?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Who do you think you are, Joe Rogan?
Dude, I am diversifying my portfolio. Okay.
All right.
I asked him to come with me one time.
I'm a Renaissance man. I do it all.
Just because they were like, "Hey, if you bring a friend, we'll put your name in a raffle, and maybe you'll win a T-shirt." And so I had him come with me. I was like, "Yeah, just come with me so I can enter this raffle." And he was like, "I'm signing up today." And I was like, "You are?"
Yeah, we've
And then
been
I
going
ended
a
up-
lot. It's fun.
Yeah, we've been going a lot. We see a lot of each other now.
Yeah.
All right.
For 30 minutes.
All right, Jude, what did you think about this movie? What's your general
I
thoughts?
love this movie.
I figured you would.
I know that you know. I read the book, and then when the movie came out, I watched the movie, and now I got to rewatch the movie, and then I watched it again when I was doing my synopsis. And it's just a delight for me. It's just so fun and whimsical, and it is Pride and Prejudice and also zombies. Like, what else could I ask for?
Oh, that's right up your alley.
It's right up my alley.
Can I jump in and say the prettiest person in this movie is a guy? Because
You're not wrong.
whoever that rich kid is,
Yeah.
he is gorgeous.
Mr. Bingley.
Woo,
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Bingley.
He needed the
I don't know, man. That
the
main-
most pleasing lady.
Liz, the frowny face. Oh, I love
the
her.
main chick. She's freaking.
Of
Smoking.
course, of
Smoking.
course. But that guy's way hotter than she is.
Ah,
it
no,
just,
I
it is what it is.
You've been going to too many hot yoga
See
classes.
the jawline of that guy?
Kadish, what's your thoughts on this movie?
So I actually really enjoy this movie. Originally, this director, David O. Russell, was set to do this, and he did like Silver Linings Playbook and Three Kings with George Clooney and stuff like that. So he had a very distinctive voice. But he had
Very different movies.
Yeah, but he had some issues with the budget. So like he wanted more money and the studio wouldn't give it to him. So he ended up leaving, and he was replaced by this guy named Burr Steers, who his only claim to fame is that he wrote How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So yeah, I know. And so like he took on this movie, and it was based off of the book by the same guy who wrote Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And originally Natalie Portman was supposed to be Elizabeth Bennet in this movie.
I can see that.
It would have made more money.
Yeah, and but she dropped out because of scheduling conflicts, and so like they brought it to like Anne Hathaway and Emma Stone. They even went to Keira Knightley, but Keira Knightley was like, well, I've already played this role.
I've
and-
already worn a corset for a movie franchise.
Well, she's done that multiple times, but I would love Keira Knightley to be in a movie like this.
I hate Keira Knightley. Anne Hathaway, though, she can do no wrong.
Anne Hathaway over Keira Knightley?
All day, every
You're
day.
freaking stupid. Go ahead.
I just shave that chick's head and I'm still into it. Just like Natalie Portman. Shave it. I'm like, oh, that's still cute. That's still cute.
But Natalie Portman remained on board as a producer, and one of the real joys of this movie is that they brought on Matt Smith, a former Doctor Who actor, to
I thought that was Doctor Who.
to play the Reverend, and he was actually
the dandy.
Yeah, the dandy. He was actually so funny on set that Lily James, who played the main
Lizzie.
character, the Lizzie, she kind of fell in love with him. They started dating.
They were like on again, off again for a while, I think.
yeah, but she like
That's such a farce. Women do not care about comedy. They do not.
Shut up, Tom.
the women you date probably don't. So,
But all I am is funny.
which is
That's
why
all
you're
I
not.
have
That's
to
why you're
offer.
still single.
Here we go again.
But the thing is that so like every time Matt Smith is on screen, he's like delivering his lines in such a way that was cracking Lily Jane's up. So they had to do takes where like he wasn't in the room because like she'd laugh, when he delivered his lines. But the best part of this movie for me was the kind of opening exposition where they have this scene where it's kind of like these pop-up characters.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite part too.
And,
yeah,
and,
my favorite part
and
too.
they kind of run down, like Charles Dance runs down basically what's the difference between Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And they go through this whole alternate history about where the zombies came from and how it impacted England and like, what London is like now and why people are training in the martial arts and basically set up everything within the first like 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
It's a montage.
Yeah, and they did it in such a stylistic and cool way. In fact, Hansel and Gretel kind of did the same thing, except without the voiceover. But the way that they handled this, I was like, yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for just laying the groundwork so I can just watch the rest of this movie and enjoy it.
It was an
so few movies do
exposition
that.
dump without it being stupid.
Was it part of the credits though?
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
mixed it in with the
Kind of, yeah.
credits.
Yeah,
So
it was great though. I'm totally with you. It was,
Yeah.
it was my as goofy and silly and stupid as this is my absolute favorite part. It was stylish. The art was very cool.
Yeah.
A very old English style. Yes, Matt, totally with you.
Yeah,
very cool.
And it was part of the opening credit sequence. So it was kind of like they were killing two birds with one stone. And then the minute they were done explaining everything that happened, they just went right into the movie, and you were like, oh, okay, great, this is fantastic.
I'm in this world now.
Yep.
And the prettiest person in this movie, as Tom has mentioned, he played Nikki Sixx in The Dirt, Motley Crue documentary.
And he was also
in another movie that we have talked about on this podcast, Jupiter Ascending.
Oh no.
he was the youngest brother.
I could spend so long talking about Jupiter Ascending right now. I saw it once. I could talk about it forever.
Oh, God,
that movie needed to be like 30
I
movies.
can still taste that movie in my mouth. Like,
Does it taste like dog hair?
oh my God.
Wet dog.
Like
just,
loving a dog?
Yeah.
oh God, Channing Tatum.
Well, don't
action
worry.
reimagining with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Dune's coming out, so I'm sure that'll be good too.
Hush.
That's not going to work out.
No?
I actually thought Lily James is absolutely gorgeous in this movie.
I loved her in this.
Yeah.
Which one's she?
She's the main.
Lizzie.
Is she that one guy? Because he is beautiful.
He outshines her every time he's on the screen.
Oh no, she's stunning. Yeah, no, she's exactly what I want.
So you had a
Angry
problem.
and brooding, and
You had a
never
problem with
smiles.
Stop talking
oh,
over
that's
me.
my favorite. Stop smiling at me, Alex.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I laugh too much. You had a problem with the fight scenes. You thought they were underwhelming.
Absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
no. Well, okay, look. Anybody who watches any martial arts movies or anything, there's certain degree of
Believability?
well, athleticism you have to pull it off. Like Keanu Reeves never really pulls it off because he's so awkward. If you watch Matrix, you'll notice he's very awkward. He's very clunky. Whereas the other people in the movie, even the who's the Mr. Smith, much more believable as a martial artist, right? So you watch this, the scenes are very generic. They're very focused. It's very like, I'm going to do slow motion move, and it really takes away from what they're actually doing. It's disappointing.
I actually think the best parts of this movie is where the girls just like move their dresses aside and you see them like sheathing like knives and stuff on their legs.
Hot.
I like lingerie
it's
too.
very hot.
What was it? I was watching with a girl, and she's like, "That's the best Halloween costume I've ever seen." I'm like, "What?" She's like,
Victorian dress with a
Victorian-
freaking sword.
Yeah, Victorian like zombie hunter. Yeah, I'm like, I get that. I'm like, corsets, absolutely go. Yes,
Yeah.
And
of course.
how about Lena Headey with a high eye patch?
Oh, that's
It
right. Lena
works.
Headey was in this.
It
Yeah.
works.
There's moments of this movie that I really, really enjoyed, and then there's things that I was like, I wanted more zombies. But how did you feel about like the smart zombie plot line? Did you?
I dig it.
I didn't need it.
I'm fine with it.
You didn't need it?
I didn't need it.
Okay, because it takes on with the Pride and Prejudice, with the aristocracy and the lower class.
Sure.
So they're very much.
So the zombies are poor people?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
But that's what they're setting up. It's the same thing with the Japanese and the Chinese martial arts.
Okay.
They're setting up this like, I'm better than you system. And so it all plays into
So
it.
this movie's layered.
Very much. I mean, it's stupid. But when I watched it a second time with somebody who had more of a liberal opinion than I do, it really did open my mind up to what I was looking at.
Okay.
And look, the movie sucks, but I wasn't that turned off by it. Like the second time around, I was like, okay, even though the martial arts sucks, but it's not about that. It's about girl power. So even when they're arguing and things in the book, I'm sure it's just, well, how would you even talk to me in such a way? But in here they're fighting each other. At the same time, they're having the same stupid dialogue. So it's like verbal sparring and physical sparring. And it just changed the whole thing for me. And with a slightly different mindset, I enjoyed the movie 10,000% more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jude, what's your favorite moment in this movie?
Okay, so I have not read the book Pride and Prejudice. However, it has been confirmed through other people who have that this is pretty much exact the book, but also with zombies. So when there's a weird pause where he's like, her arms are muscular, but to the point of femininity, and like it's weird. That's 100% taken from the book, but
Really?
incorporated into this movie, and I just think that's hilarious.
Nice. That's it? That's your favorite part? Is that one line?
No,
Or just that concept?
that happens throughout
Okay.
the movie.
Like how
And
tied into this.
It's these
Yeah.
weird moments where it's the movie or the book Pride and Prejudice in this movie, but there's zombies around, and they're incorporating like dialogue from that book into this while they're fighting zombies.
Okay.
And that's for me. If you watched our show before, you know that's for me.
Yeah, that's Jude, 100%. So what's your star rating for this one, Jude?
Oh, okay. Everybody's gonna roll their eyes at me, but for me,
God.
I love it. I read the book. I've watched the movie a couple of times. It's great for me, and I wish that I had gone to see it in the box office when it came out, so that it would have a little bit better of a bring in than it currently does. But for me, it's a 4 corsets out of 5.
4 courses.
Wow.
Wow. That is high praise.
That is cinched tight.
Katie, how about you, bud? Final thoughts, give it a rating.
So I really like this movie. I feel like it's very charming. It's very heartfelt. It remains faithful to the source material, but it adds this cool zombie aspect to it. I really enjoyed my time watching this film. I thought the cast was good. I thought the story was good. The directing was fine. I didn't have a problem with the action scenes. The smart zombie thing didn't bother me because it kind of made sense where like you get bitten, you get turned into a zombie. And then the more brains you eat, the more you kind of devolve into like a brainless zombie. So like while you're still somewhat human, you have the ability to kind of retain your humanity if you resist eating human brains. And, you know, like I didn't have a problem with that. I thought that the movie was fun. I think the best scene was when Elizabeth is having a conversation with Mr. Darcy where he proposes. And this movie turned that scene into a fight scene where they're like kind of like kicking each other around and stuff like that. But they still had like the same charming kind of antagonistic like tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
Where like I'm sure if you watch the original version of Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley, like the scene was very kind of like subdued, but like Downton Abbey-ish.
Proper.
Yeah, proper.
There's a lot of sexual tension.
Yeah, a lot of drama. But they just added the martial arts to it, which was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed this movie. I give it a solid 3 pig's brains out of 5.
Nice. For me, I want more zombie stuff. This was like I said before, the balance of Pride and Prejudice and zombies is very much a subtitle. I wanted more. So it wasn't my favorite this week. I think Hansel and Gretel probably took that cake. This is 2.5, middle of the road. It was fun. It was good. I was surprised at how well done it was. I was very surprised at how much Pride and Prejudice it was, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. Favorite scene? I don't know if I really have one. I do like that. Oh, this is going to be kind of corny and probably kind of generic, but that scene where like the first reveal of all the ladies like standing up with their swords, and it was like that wide shot of all the sisters like getting ready to fight. I nerded out a little bit about that. I was like, that's freaking cool.
Did your wife watch this with you?
She did not. She
Wow.
hates zombies with a passion.
Well, it's and zombies.
I know, but like she's not into that.
It's like 5% zombies.
5%.
Tom, did you rate it?
I did not rate it.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so what did I say? 2.5?
Yes.
I forgot already. Yeah, 2.5. So, Tom, what's your rating for this?
This is
one?
the first time I saw this movie, I hated it. So it would be like a 1. If you
1-star crap fest?
The first time I saw this in the theater.
Oh.
I was part of the 16 million.
Okay.
Okay. The second time I saw it, like I said, it was very different eyes, and I saw it very differently. I enjoyed it the second time. It's a 3 disappointing karate kicks out of 5. But because I really liked the perspective that I was given when I was watching it with somebody else.
Okay.
If it was me watching it, I'm going to hate it. But if somebody can give me proper perspective and kind of like give me a different viewpoint, I'm very open, so like, okay. I see where you're going with this. It did totally change my mindset. I liked it, not as much as Abraham Lincoln, but I'm putting it right up there with Abraham Lincoln.
Cool.
I like that girl.
All right. That is it, guys, for today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like what you saw here, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. And if you want to join the community, go to saltynerdiscord.com and join in with us. And you guys get to suggest what kind of movies we talk about next with our great patrons and all that stuff. Tom, where can they find you on the socials, bud?
I don't really exist anywhere anymore. I'm trying to get away from all things that are, oppressing me. But if you really want to find me and look at pictures of tacos that I ate and stuff, it's Instagram Big T2681.
Okay,
I'm on Instagram. You can find my tacos.
Right on. Jude, where can they find you at?
You can find Tom on my Instagram.
That's probably more on hers than mine.
I am Juju on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Right on. And Matt's Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter, and kadishbooks.com takes you to my Amazon page. Also, check us out on Facebook. We got a group over there, so go and sign up.
And I'm your host, Alex, the Salty Nerd. You can catch me on our Discord app, saltynerd.discord.com. And if you want to join the club, go to saltynerdclub.com and help support us so we don't have to worry about the YouTube algorithm nonsense. If you like what we do here, please remember, subscribe, like, and share. And as always, stay salty, my friends.